So it's finally time to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Now I know everyone and their mother has done a breakdown of some kind, but there are some things that other YouTubers have put videos out on that they actually missed out on. And there's some pretty cool small things, big things. We'll talk about everything Master Duel related. And of course, if you enjoy the video, leaving a like down below much appreciated, and subscribe to the channel for more Master Duel related content as it comes out. We're going to be covering this game quite a bit. Let's dive right in. So we know Master Duel is going to be a free-to-play game with microtransactions included, but we don't know the extent of these and to what they will be. Could they be card packs, or solely cosmetic items, or a battle pass? We don't know just yet. We also know the game's going to be launching as a global release on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, iOS and Android, so every platform under the sun. But there is no confirmation of crossplay or cross-progression, which given Duel Links has it, I would be surprised if it didn't, but if it doesn't, then Konami have made a pretty big mistake. And the game's being spearheaded by lead producer Kenichi Kataoka, who previously worked on Duel Links as producer, so the game, I think, in my opinion, is in pretty good hands. And they've got the intention to use this game for World Championships in the future, maybe 2022, they didn't explicitly say that, but they also want to have tournaments for competitive and casual players, so it seems like inside the game itself, there's going to be a lot on offer. The game is designed to allow players to fully enjoy the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG and TCG, which kind of implies that the game will have every card released to date inside it day one, and continue to receive frequent updates as new packs release, boxes, structure decks, that kind of thing. In the trailer, we saw cards from all over Yu-Gi-Oh's history like the Vanilla BLS, Dark Hole, and then like new stuff like Tri Brigade and Eldritch. Everything is seemingly in the game. However, it does seem that the formats will be split between the OCG and the TCG, because in the Japanese trailer, we can see the Shadow player at the start with a copy of Max C in their deck, which in the TCG is completely forbidden. In the OCG, they can actually play it. This opening shot was the only shot in the entire trailer that was different in content from the Japanese and English versions, so it's unlikely that, people have been thinking that maybe it's a Worlds list like Legacy Duelist had, but in a Worlds list, they use the harshest hit on the list, so even in OCG, Maxi would be banned because it's the harshest hit, so it can't really be a Worlds list outside of the Worlds events, which I assume they will be doing for this kind of game. The Japanese trailer also gave us a quick look at two ranking icons, a green bunny on the right with a Roman numeral 1 underneath, and a bronze bird that kind of looks like a Raid Raptor with a number 3 underneath. If we apply Duel Links logic here, that's going to be Rookie rank 1 versus Bronze rank 3, which doesn't really make too much sense. Unless this was taken from a casual or friend duel, it just wouldn't make much sense on the ladder. And if we continue on with that first shot, it's the only shot in the entire trailer to feature what appears to be a turn counter for 480 seconds or 8 minutes. No other duel shown has one. This, along with the overall speed of the game and attack decoration, being exactly 4 frames each between the attack ending and next one starting, to me, makes it seem like that the rest of the trailer was captured using a replay functionality, and that's why the game feels so quick, and we see no other UI aside from the hamburger menu in the top left, and the eye icon and what I assume to be the duel log in the bottom right. So it appears like if you're a fan of Duel Links, like you do replays, you might be able to do that in this game. I would certainly hope so. The English trailer we all watched also shows us that cards can have optional cosmetic rarities. We see Shadow Squad Martyr on the left with what appears to be closest to an ultimate rare in a TCG, with an embossed name and a border, with the second one being National Aerial, which has more of a collector's rare feel just with a bunch of extra shine on it. And in terms of the overall field, the layout is very similar to the traditional Master Duel layout, but there are a few small changes to kind of fit it all onto one screen. The spell, trap and field spells have all been kind of reduced in size, so they aren't the same size as the monster cards, and the graveyard and banished zones have been replaced with these little circular pods that glow up different colours, blue and purple, when cards are actually in them, otherwise they kind of just stay grey, turned off. Also, when a card effect's being negated, the card actually turns grey before either staying on the field, or in the case of Royal Decree, being sent straight to the graveyard and then kind of glowing and vanishing into the hole. Cards also clearly show their chain link order both in the actual big animation and on the field, even if they are the only ones in the chain, like for example a ritual summon, that starts a chain, so that has the chain link on it because that started the thing. And some cards such as Dark Hole do have their own unique animations, but do not expect this for every card in the game. It's feasibly impossible and will probably only be for the most competitive or casual cards, iconic cards like Raigeki or Feather Duster. Those will kind of have some special animations, but everything else will kind of be generic, destroy, negate, that kind of thing. Each player is able to select a custom design for their side of the field that acts as an extended playmat of sorts, and each game board appears to be a reference to various Yu-Gi-Oh card artworks and card lore. For example, we have Spellbook Library of the Healer Sphere. Notice the panels on the floor, the pillars, and the golden edge atop them. as well as the blue glowing objects floating around. Or this next board that appears to be based on Preparation of Rites. You can see the obvious stone structure design, as well as the golden objects each of the rogue men are holding inside the structure next to the raised surface inside. Or how about this board inspired by the artwork of World Legacy Scars? You can see clearly there's a flooded landscape below, with World Legacy World Shield in the bottom right, and World Legacy World Lance in the top left. There are 3 other environments shown in the game's trailer that I couldn't really figure out as to one particular card. We have an ancient forest looking one, we have a steampunk mechanical one that kind of reminds me of an ancient gear card, but I couldn't find anything that kind of fits it. And then we have the fire volcanic design, which is, I thought originally was because of Salamangreat Sanctuary being on the field. But later in the trailer, we see the Sanctuary isn't on the field and the board's the same. So that kind of also confirms that while we don't know what the game board is based off, the game board itself isn't affected by field spells being activated like it was in old games. Like in Tag Force, you'd have a visible change in the background when a field spell was played. In this game, doesn't appear to be the case. But if you do happen to work these cards out, let me know down below. The active turn player is indicated by an animated blue or red effect over the top of the game board, and as you lose life during your duel, your game board starts to crack from the center outwards before, in the case of Preparation of Rites here, the entire surrounding structure, the environment, just falls apart upon defeat. There's more to that, we'll get to that in a minute. So when monsters that have special animations are summoned, they'll have a custom effect behind them that corresponds to their attribute. In the trailer we had Access Code Talker and Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, both dark monsters with a purple glow behind them. We had Construct with a light monster with a golden yellowy effect behind them, and a bright green background with a wind attribute Stardust Dragon. This effect carries over to when a monster declares an attack as well, which is very similar to how the new Rush Duel Switch game works. And we see multiple dark monsters attacking with this, this shadowy purple animation. The wind attribute Apex Avian attacks with a green tornado-like effect, and in the Salamangreat clip, we see a trailing fire effect due to all the monsters being a fire attribute, obviously. When a monster is synchro summoned, you can see in the animation that the monster's levels being used as material are displayed on each of the rings, and you can assume that as we add more materials onto there, like the Vrains anime, there will be more rings added to the animation. Similarly, when performing a ritual summon, in the case of Chaos Max Dragon, you can see the level of the monster being used as ritual material displayed as fiery orbs around the summoning circle. And interestingly, the only extra mechanic we didn't see an animation for was Xyz summoning. We had Link summoning, which of course used a very similar animation to what it does in the Vrains anime, and Pendulum summoning just looks like Pendulum summoning. But also when a monster is summoned, a small icon appears letting the player know what battle position it was summoned in, which feels kind of irrelevant given that you can see the attack or defense, but there's definitely a small transparent icon showing attack mode when it's played. However, this does also show that each summoning mechanic has its own little animation when it hits the board. When a fusion monster hits the board, it's like a purple glow. When a synchro monster hits the board, it's kind of like a mechanical, greeny, bluey glow. And of course, when pendulum summoning hits, you have the giant sparkles, all the constellation of the pendulum, the animation, that kind of thing happening. And speaking of when monsters hit the field, pets. The trailer shows 11 pets in total, a term taken from Magic the Gathering Arena, that are purely cosmetic items that kind of support you throughout the duel. We saw Dark Magician, Pot of Greed, World Chalice Guard Dragon, Salamangreat Gazelle, Borolo Dragon, Sangan, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Ritual Raven, Rescue Rabbit, Stratos, and Ancient Gear Wyvern, so a bunch of fan favorite cards, and some less fan favorite, more kind of unique TCG cards getting some representation in Master Duel. And the pets seemingly cheer you on in battle. In the case of Gazelle, whenever the player dealt damage to the opponent, a special animation and sound effect would play. Conversely, in the case of Pot of Greed, when its own life points took damage, it would start rolling around on the ground as though it had just been hit. They also seem to have dedicated defeat animations as well, though this might be the same as the damage taken animation, we don't know just yet. For example, Elemental Stratos can be seen taking a knee upon the player losing the duel. The game seems to share some sleeve designs with actual OG products you can buy for yourself. However, they have the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh logo replaced with a Master logo, but even in the English trailer, they still have the Japanese Master logo, so you can kind of see it's a work in progress. 3 player icons can also be seen during the trailer. We have the Vagabond, who Duel Links players will be very familiar with, we have card artwork for X-Crawler Synthesis, and Gladius Beast Dominatius. And the big thing here is that throughout this trailer, there was no real pandering to the anime, no anime characters, no voicing of like Yugi and Kaiba, aside from, Dan Green narrating the trailer. There was just strictly TCG, OCG, this is the card game in its raw form, and you can kind of see that with the whole, the duel field, the backgrounds, being references to card art, card lore that you might not have seen in traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! In Legacy of Duelists, in Duel Links. You might not have seen those cards see play, or even known about the lore, but TCG fans, hardcore fans, they will know, they will respect it, they will like it, and So far, Master is looking pretty good. Of course, we don't know the monetization model, which is kind of the big thing here. How will we get all 10,000 plus cards? Will it be 100% free to play? Will it be cosmetic only? Will we have to have a mixture of like, you know, buying wild cards and just grinding out for the cards from ranked PvP? We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Master video, whenever the hell that is. See you then.